Okay, hello for you one. With this, we are going to start a new chapter called vectors. And some of you might be asking what really is a vector. And okay, just listen closely, and I think after this lesson, you will definitely know what is a vector. Okay? So, okay, now this is a common question that is asked by students which don't really understand what is vector. So I guess the first lesson itself is quite important, and I'm going to tell you what is a vector by the way. Now, so just imagine there's 2 points A and B, and imagine, let's say Joel, you're moving from A going towards B. So actually, this movement is already a vector. Okay, so as long as you are moving from a point to the other and can be represented by a vector. So look at the symbol over there and the arrow. So what it means is that we have AB and the arrow is moving from A to B. Okay, so more than often the movement will also involve how much movement are there. So you are also interested in the so-called the amount of movement. Okay, with this, let's say we have a triangle that is moving 3 units to the right and 4 units upwards. And if we are going to represent this, we can use a column vector to represent this movement of vector AB, which we always write the movement towards the x direction first, followed by movement in the y direction. Okay, so it's pretty much similar to matrix, and but matrix we can have something like 3 by 3, 4 by 5 or whatever, but for column vector is always one column with only x and y, so there's only 2 by 1 matrix. Okay, now let's move on to the next example. So let's say I have again AB, but this time around the movement is a bit different. We have 2 units to the right and 8 units downwards. So according to your understanding, what would be the answer for this then? Okay, so if I review the answer, please check and whether do you get the same answer 2, -8. Okay, this time around you will see that the y is a negative because it's moving downwards. So you can always relate to your xy coordinate when you're drawing graph. So things that is below or moving downwards will be corresponding to a negative value. Okay, now so I guess every one of you have a general idea of what is a vector. And let's move on to the next part where we'll be discussing about what is equal and opposite vector. Okay, supposedly we have a vector that is again AB moving from A towards B. And okay, sometimes we don't want to, we don't know how much is moving in terms of how many units right, how many units in the up direction or downward direction. So sometimes we are lazy, we will just give a alphabet representing the movement. So in this case you will see an A with a curvy line on top. Okay, in your textbook you might be seeing it's a A with a bold. Okay, so it's thicker in color, but when you are trying to write this down in your exercise book, it's quite impossible to do so, or even in exam, it's quite impossible to just make it in bold or make it very thick. So what we do is normally we just use a curvy line to put it on top to denote that this is a vector. Okay, so enough talking. Let's move on back to the example. So you will see that right now I have 2 more lines with PQ and XY. Okay, both of them are moving in the same magnitude, which is A, but you'll notice that the green color arrow XY is moving in a different direction. So according to your, maybe you guess which one will be equal and which one will be opposite. And I think most of you might get this correct, okay, if you are observant enough, because A, B, and PQ, since they move in the same direction, and since the amount of movement are the same, that's why they are equal to one another. And XY is moving in a different direction. So you will see that A, B, and XY are opposite, and sometimes we just use a negative which to represent that they are opposite. Okay, so these are pretty much simple and easy to understand. So after all this, the next thing we are interested in is, are we able to calculate the distance, or so-called the magnitude of a vector? Actually, we can. If you take a look at the same example, AB, column vector is given 3, 4, which means it's moving 3 units in the right direction, 4 units upwards. Okay, now if you draw a triangle like this, you can see that it's a right angle triangle with the base and the height given. So in order to find AB, which is the hypotenuse of a right angle triangle, you can just simply use the Pythagoras theorem to find the distance or magnitude. So the symbol to represent finding the distance of a vector would be by using a modular sign, also called the absolute sign, and writing down the vector AB inside. Okay, then we will continue to find the magnitude by using Pythagoras theorem, and we get 5 as the answer. And how are we going to add and subtract column vectors? So once again, previously I said already, this thing, it works pretty much the same as matrix. So when you add 2 different vectors together, simply you just add the numerator, not the numerator but the numbers on top, and you can only add the numbers below to one another. So by looking at this example A and B, which have a column vector of 3, -5 for A, 6, 8 for B, when you add them up, you just add the top number to get 9, and below you will get 3. Okay, so nothing much to say. For vectors, as a beginning, it will be quite straightforward. And I hope this video, after watching it, you have a rough understanding and a thorough understanding of basic vectors. Okay, with this, I need all of you to start your homework, or so-called the classwork. Please take out your textbook, turn to page 83, and we are going to focus on exercise 3A first. Okay? Take a look at question 1, 5, 6, and 7 and 8. Okay, do this question on a piece of foolscap and submit this at the end of the lesson to the relief teacher that is in your class. Okay, please don't bring back home and finish it, because it will be very hard to get it, I know. So try to finish everything in class and enjoy doing. All the best. See you in next lesson, and bye bye.